Hey guys, welcome to Rosie's Dessert Spot. Today we'll be decorating a 2-tier Hens night cake. This is a very tame cake for Hens night, so we're just going with like a dress kind of design. I have two 6-inch cakes that I've cut in half and I'm stacking them together with frosting. If you'd like to try making this frosting at home, I will be sure to leave the recipe in the description box. For the crumb coat, I'm going on with Ganache. Both cakes are going to be covered with fondant, and whenever I cover my cakes with fondant, I like to use Ganache as the base. This has been mixed in with some buttercream. It just makes it a little bit easier to work with, and it doesn't set so quickly, so it gives you extra time to smooth it out. Once the sides are nice and smooth, drag that lip of frosting towards the middle, and then refrigerate your cakes for 20 minutes. I also stacked and crumb coated a 4-inch cake, and I don't know if you can see it there, but there's a 4-inch cake board right underneath as well. Smooth it out, drag that lip of frosting to the middle and refrigerate again. And you'll be creating one more layer of frosting again with the ganache. And this is just going to be that super neat layer that sits under our fondant. Repeat with the top tier as well. And then allow both cakes to set in the fridge for at least an hour. We want that ganache to set nice and firmly. In the meantime, I'm going to take my fondant and roll it out to about 3 millimeters or so in thickness. The color that I chose was like a peachy flesh tone. I went with some yellow and pink to create this shade. And then draping it over the cake, pressing out any air from the top, securing the top edge where it's really sharp. If you don't secure that top edge, your fondant can rip. And then just undo those pleats, massage the fondant onto the base, and then smooth it all out with your fondant smoothers. I like to clap them and press them together at the very top to create a nice sharp edge. And then you can cut off the excess and use it for your bottom tier. Follow the same steps again. And then for the dress section, I've taken some white fondant, rolled it out again to about 3 or so millimeters, and then I've just used floral tape to tell me how tall I need to make it. So I just measured it up to the side of the cake, and that's how I know where to cut the fondant. These are bubble tea straws. I've literally just lined them up, draped the fondant over top, and then I'm pinching the fondant to take shape of the straws and then just pulling them together. This is what's going to create the pleats in our dress. Cut off the excess, remove the straws, and then if you want, you can press them a little bit more tightly together and drape them over the cake, stuck to the cake with a little bit of water. These still ended up being a little bit too long, so you can just trim off a bit at the base. Don't stress about where it's landing on the top. We are going to cut away any excess. Moisten the cake again with a little bit of water and then drape over the next batch. It's pretty forgiving, so you can move it around, peel it off the cake and continue to shift it until you're happy with the look. This was a little bit diagonal, so I did remove it and just straighten it up. I ended up using three strips of fondant in total to cover the whole cake. For the top, I've taken a 4-inch cake board, placed it right in the middle, and then just cutting around, and that's how I know my top tier will sit dead in the middle. Remove the excess. If you want, you can pull the dress pattern back a little bit just to make some room for the cake. Add in 4 bubble tea straws or wooden dowels into the cake, making sure to cut it flush with the very top. These are inserted to support the weight of the top tier. You can stick the cake together with either buttercream or ganache. This cake is nice and firm now. I can grab it with my hands and press it into the center. Now for the lace. This is a lace mat, and I have some edible lace paste that I bought from the local cake decorating store. I've sprayed it with oil and then dried off the excess oil. That way it just comes out a lot easier. And I'm using my spatula and kind of brushing it back and forth, really pressing the paste into the sections, into the mold. You want to go up and down, side to side, just to make sure that you reach each little corner and crevice. Clear it up, pop it into the oven at the lowest possible temperature. Mine was about 70 degrees Celsius for about 15 minutes. I steamed the outside of the cake with just water. That helps to make the fondant tacky, and it allows us to stick our lace to the cake. Gently peel back on the lace mold and hold down the lace. Line it up at the front and then wrap it around the cake. For the veil, this is just veil that I bought from the local craft shop. I've cut it a little bit longer than the actual cake, so it sort of drapes over. And then as a finishing touch, I've taken some chocolate covered pearls and I'm just sticking them at the base of the top tier. And that's it. That is how you create a fun Hens night cake that is super elegant and classy with a veil and custom cake topper. I hope you enjoyed this design and give it a try. If you do, hashtag Rosie's Dessert Spot so I can check it out. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you again in the next one.